Has there ever been a time when you've been reading a book, a work of fiction, or watching a drama, perhaps in the theatre or on the movie screen, when you've been moved to tears? Perhaps the main character has lost his loved one, and it's been expressed extremely poignantly. It's a real tear-jerker moment. And you feel the sadness. You feel the sadness of the character and the sadness of his loss. And you can't but help shed a tear or several tears in sympathy. And let's say you had a very dear friend who lost his loved one and he's completely devastated. Maybe you'd shed tears of sympathy for him, tears of sympathy for his devastating loss. Is there a difference between the tears that you shed for the fictional character and the tears that you shed for your friend? Is there a difference between the emotional reaction? And what if you lost your own loved one? That would hit home in a completely different level, wouldn't it? I think the tears would be quite different then, wouldn't they? But we're not going to contemplate the personal tragedy here, your own tragedy, and we won't even focus on a real life tragedy that's happened to somebody you know. We'll just focus on the fictional tragedy, because this might help us get a feel or some perspective for this next passage. Vasistha continued, "He to whom joy is no joy and sorrow is no sorrow is a liberated one. He whose heart is not agitated even while being engaged in pleasure is a liberated one. He is a liberated one who rejoices in pure consciousness itself, as well as in the objective world." So this seems like a contradiction, doesn't it? He to whom joy is no joy and sorrow is no sorrow. It sounds like one of these mystical paradoxes, but it's one that we experience ourselves on a daily basis. When we're watching a drama, when we're caught up in the portrayal of human emotions, we're experiencing joy and sadness. But are we really experiencing it? Are we really affected by it? Because even though we're getting caught up in the drama, we know that we're fundamentally rooted outside that drama. Our essential nature is not part of that drama. And this is the situation with the liberated one. They engage with joy, sorrow, pleasure, but at the same time they know that their reality is not these things. Their reality is the infinite consciousness. So it's not that you're cut off or aloof. Would we describe the reaction of somebody who's getting involved in the emotions of a drama as cut off and aloof? Certainly not. But at the same time, we would question the extent to which that is real joy or real sorrow that is being experienced. It's certainly not the same as what would happen if these things were more immediate in your reality. So the sage is sometimes described as being like a log of wood. And this gives the impression that they're inert or a bit dead. And it's not that way at all. In fact, it's just the opposite. You become more sensitized to emotion, more caught up in it, But at the same time, there's this equanimity. And equanimity isn't about being like this. Equanimity means that you can go this way, but then you'll come back to this way. You can go down this way, but you come back this way. Equanimity you could describe as some sort of normative centre. It's a rather horrible expression. But your norm is one of equanimity. Your reference point is one of equanimity. And because you've got that reference point, you can really let yourself go. You don't have to be careful. You don't have to be careful about experiencing emotion. You don't have to be careful about being hurt or disappointed. Because your centre, because you have a centre, that equanimous centre, which isn't just an idea or an arbitrary reference point. That centre is the very nature of your own consciousness. And that's what you don't lose sight of. That's what you don't lose sight of. I remember once taking a walk, a long walk, several miles along a beach in Goa in India. And as we set out, I set out on this walk with my girlfriend at the time. And as we set out on this walk, this young dog attached itself to us. And it felt safe with us. It would, as we walked along the beach, it would go off on little forays. And then if things got a little bit dodgy, if some other dogs appeared, it would come back to us. It would come back to us. And this went on for several miles. Sometimes it even disappeared out of sight. It went scampering off, but then came back to us. And as soon as we got to the destination, it disappeared altogether. It just went off into the village. This is the point. In a way, we represented that dog's equanimity, its safety. It could go off and do what it wanted because it knew the direction that we were walking in. And it kept coming back to us. It kept coming back. There was a safe centre.